the story of Citrus County's real estate market. From boom to bust, and back again, the early 2000s. Steady growth leading to a bubble. In 2000, Citrus County was still that affordable, laid-back spot, with manatees and springs drawing in buyers. Median sale prices for single-family homes were around $100,000. The county's population in 2000 was 118,055 and was growing slowly. About 1% a year, mostly retirees from up north escaping snow. Income was modest. Median household income was about $35,000, but homes were affordable, averaging about 3 times that annual income, the long-term average since as far back as 1900. Things revved up with interest rates falling from 8% to below 6% by 2003. Loose lending started, and Florida's real estate boom had begun. By 2005, the median home price had surged to $220,000 as speculators and flippers piled in, building subdivisions and pushing prices up 15% to 25% yearly. The peak came in September 2005, right before the national bubble popped. Affordability worsened fast. Homes now cost almost 6 times the average median household income, about $38,000, making it challenging, if not impossible, for locals to buy without stretching. The drop started slowly by mid-2006, about 9 months after peak, as sellers held out but buyers disappeared. The 2007 to 2008 recession hammered it. Unemployment hit 12%. Foreclosures spiked. Citrus County had thousands. Banks overcorrected and severely tightened loans. Single-family median pricing fell sharply, down 10% in 2007, accelerating to a 50% total drop by 2011. At the bottom, in 2011, median home pricing had fallen to about $105,000. Back to the 2000 levels. It took 6 years from peak to trough. Neighborhoods had many empty homes. Short sales were everywhere, and sales volume had halved. Finally, affordability had improved. Homes were back to around 3 times annual income again, but folks were now having a tougher road to qualifying for mortgages. Getting back to normal, 2012 to 2019, starting 2012, lower interest rates, 4% plus or minus, and rock-bottom prices lured investors and retirees. Median home prices rose 6% to 10% yearly, $120,000 by 2015, $185,000 by 2019. It took about 7 years from the 2011 bottom to recover to pre-bubble normals, around $200,000 by 2018. Neighborhoods began to show improvement and revitalization as the market recovered. Population growth picked up, 1.2% yearly. Affordability hovered at 3 to 3.5 times incomes. Things were finally back to a balanced, normal market. But just when the market finally returned to something resembling normal, COVID flipped the script in 2020. In response to the pandemic, the federal government slashed interest rates, driving 30-year fixed mortgages below 3% for the first time in modern U.S. history. That flood of cheap money set off a buying frenzy. Over the next 23 months, Citrus County home prices skyrocketed, rising 60%. By the time the madness had peaked, it became the most dramatic short-term housing surge in our history. Beginning in June 2020 and ending in April 2022, the single-family median price in Citrus County exploded, from $200,000 to $320,000. A 60% jump. Inventory vanished. Homes sold in weeks. Cash buyers, 40% to 50%, dominated, and bidding wars were common. Since the peak, we have seen first stabilization and now cooling, post-April 2022. Rates climbed to 6% to 7%, cooling demand. Inventory ballooned, up 150% from lows. Sales dropped 10% year over year. The median single-family home price peaked at $330,000 in 2023, then eased to $310,000 in 2024 and $300,000 in 2025, down 3% to 5% year over year. Homes now sit 60 to 80 days, with more price cuts. Why? High rates make payments pricey, $2,000 or more per month for a $300,000 home. Insurance averages $4,500 per year, and migration slowed. Growth continues. Population about 158,000 in 2025, but balanced market favors buyers. Why a correction is coming and when it might happen. A mild correction is underway, with prices down 5% to 10% from 2022 highs. Affordability is still bad. 5 to 5.5 times annual income, now about $56,000, worse than 2005 due to interest rates and insurance. Why? Overbuilt subdivisions, fewer out-of-state buyers. Economic jitters like a potential recession or job slowdowns are affecting the market. Florida's overall growth, at 1% to 1.5% statewide, helps Citrus County. But if interest rates stay high or another storm hits, the rest of the coming correction could come even sooner and the price drop even faster. When? Expect 5% to 10% further decline from late 2025 to the first half of 2026, unless the rates drop below 6% quickly. The rest of the correction will most likely last until 2027. Some of that correction will come from prices dropping and some through higher incomes. However, to fully correct, pricing will need to revert to the standard formula, which is 3 to 4 times median household income equals the median home price. The total correction to come looks like it will be between 20% and 30% of home values. Now, this is not as drastic as the 50% correction from 2005 to 2011. But it could take from 3 to 5 years for home affordability to return to normal. Longer term, from 2028 onward, things should return to normal. We are expecting a steady 3% to 5% per year growth again after the correction is completed. For sellers, price competitively now. Buyers are picky. Time is not your friend. The market is getting more crowded every day. Contact our office for the latest updates, including neighborhood-specific information. Our agents will keep you current on our volatile real estate market. At Berkshire Hathaway Home Services, Florida Showcase Properties, we understand the history and the unique nature of Citrus County and Citrus Hills. We can help inform you about the current market implications and guide you on planning for the future. Thank you for watching, and please share this video with your friends and neighbors.